Hey, how's it going? Is it going well? Because I am back. What do you want to do? I'm going to give you reasons why you should start a garden in this year in 2024. For one, it's fun I find joy in gardening. Plus, I think it would be good for you to grow your own food for your family. Also, it's rewarding to grow your own food as well. So, it's good to be back. Yes, and I will be gardening. I'll start doing videos next month in April. How does that sound to you? I have been waiting for a while to get back into it. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm going to record a video this weekend for the winter, the snow outdoors while it is. So I will be doing just that. As as my very first video to get back into doing videos. like I had done in the past. And I will get back into doing regularly, doing videos, plant videos, regularly like I had done last year. How does that sound to you? It sounds good to me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I will do my best to give you some tips and tricks on how to grow your very own plants indoors. Also, I will give you some tips and tricks on how to grow your own food if you wish. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I am ready to be back, to do what I was doing before. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. So now, what I am going to do is get back into it. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah. I enjoyed it so much. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. This is enjoyable. Yes. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. I'll be right back in a second. Come on in. What would you like to know? What kinds of food do you want to grow? I will give you some examples. Types of foods I want to grow. That is tomatoes, peppers, you name it. Those are some of the foods that I want to grow. I also would like to try growing some watermelon again, and maybe even some corn. I did not get any watermelon last year. I didn't get much of anything last year. Because last year was a awful growing season. It was raining all the time. I'm hoping that this year will be a better growing season. Because it would be nice if I get more this year than I did last year. It is very important. I'm going to be trying something different this year. Like, I am going to use grow bags, and I'm going to put some of my plants in grow bags and have backup. It is very important for you to have a backup plan when it comes to gardening, because if it's an awful growing season this year, like last year, and it's always raining, it is very good to be well prepared. Those are some of the things that you should know when it comes to gardening. If anyone has any questions on types of plants or how to start gardening this year in 2024, please do go ahead, because I am down to answer any questions. As far as if there's any foods that I recommend you start if you are just starting to get into growing your own food, that would be veggies. Because veggies are the easiest and the quickest to grow. Fruits. If you want to grow fruits, the quickest fruits to grow, I would say, would be melons. Like watermelons, there are different varieties. There are a bunch of different varieties of melons. Like, there are watermelons, cantaloupes, honeydew melon, different kinds of melons. However, fruit takes longer to grow. Longer than veggies. There are certain veggies that you could pick in as soon as like 2 to 3 weeks. Like depending on the type of veggie, it could be like 30 days, 20, 30 days, like up to 30 days for you to harvest your first veggies, like lettuce. Lettuce is pretty quick to grow and harvest. While fruits like watermelon and melons could take up to like 80 days to mature. And what you need to do is you need to figure out which climate zone you are in. Plant hardiness zone. You can just look it up. It's pretty simple. Plant hardiness zone is like which zone you are in. My plant hardiness zone is zone 4B. And temperatures get to be pretty cold here during winter time. However, as far as when it comes to also I recommend you could use whatever potting mix you want. You could I use Happy Frog potting mix. You could make your own mix using peat moss, perlite, or vermiculite with some type of minerals in it for seed starting. Now, if you want to grow plants in your homemade soilless mix, you will need to modify it, like adding fertilizers to it and like that. That's probably just not the only thing to use is fertilizers. It's modifying it if you want to actually be able to grow plants in your own homemade soilless mix that you make yourself. Because I know it can get to be pretty expensive too, because it's like $25, $28 a bag to get a big box of potting mix at a big box store. You could get it for even less than half the cost, and you could just get it for a few dollars. At a local store where you are at. Now I'm going to go over types of melons that you could grow. There are different varieties of melons, like I said, but there's some varieties that I know of that you can grow. Like, there's the sugar baby watermelon, which is up to 75 days. So if you live in a climate zone where I am, I recommend you go with an early maturing variety or a mid-early maturing variety if you have a short growing season like I do. My growing season is short. It's 3 months, and 3 months is a short growing season. From June to August, or even June towards the end of September, my growing season is short. So if you live in a climate where, like me, where you have a short growing season, I recommend you I recommend you start your watermelon seeds early. I start my watermelon seeds, as soon as mid-April or early May, like at the start of May. As long as you plant yours around that time in April or as early as in May, early May, then it should give you enough time to harvest the watermelon by the end of the growing season. One of the varieties that I know of that you could grow is the Yamato Silver watermelon. That is a mid-early maturing variety, and it matures in 80 days. When it comes to watermelon, it needs to stay warm. It needs to be temperatures of 70 or above during the daytime. And temperatures need to be at least up in the 60s at night for them to do good. They need that warm weather. Now, you must be wondering, how do I start my watermelon seeds? I can't plant them and outdoors because it's too cold out right now. How I do it is I start my seeds indoors in containers. I use I start my seeds indoors in containers with potting mixes. And I use a heat mat. A heat mat will help your seeds sprout quicker. Depending on the seeds, it could be up to a week or just a few days for you to see a sprout on your seeds. When it comes to seeds, I recommend you use fresh seeds. If it's been opened and it's exposed to light, and it's been there for like over a week or for too long, I don't think it will sprout. And maybe it will sprout. It might still sprout. It would just take longer for the seeds to sprout. So that's why I recommend you go with fresh seeds, because fresh seeds take the quickest to sprout. If you want to save your seeds, I recommend you close it, put it in a Ziploc bag, close it, put it in a dark space, so that way it's not exposed to light. And when you are ready for the next season, like peppers, they last for quite a while. Now, there are some other veggies that you could grow. It's not just lettuce. You could grow broccoli, radishes, carrots, potatoes. Those are some of the other things that you could grow as well. Potatoes. That is something you need to plant early as well. Like as soon as in May. Because depending on the variety, like the russet potatoes, those ones take like up to 90 days to mature. Maybe there are some varieties of potatoes that may take up to mature as soon as like 80, 85 days. But the russet white potatoes takes up to 90 days to mature. So potatoes is one of them that needs to be planted early. And I will start getting into starting in April. I'll do a video on how to do. Actually, no, it will be in May. In May, I will do videos on how to start planting. Actually, in April, mid-April, I will do a video on how to start seeds indoors. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I will do my best to answer your questions. Now, on to the next thing that I would like to talk about. Actually, now on to other foods that you could grow. There's some other fruits you could try growing. If you want to have a little bit more of a challenge, you could try growing fruit trees indoors. I have bananas, avocados, mango, citrus fruit trees like lemons and kumquats. Those ones I find to be a little bit more of a challenge because fruit trees aren't like plants. They don't just last for a season and they're done for. It takes some years to mature and to produce fruit. There are some fruit trees that take longer than some other ones, like olive trees. They are slow growers. Avocados and mangoes, I think depending on the variety, are fairly quick growing. If there's any citrus that you want to grow, I recommend Meyer lemon tree. It's a very good variety to grow. It's good for indoors if you live in a colder climate. However, when it comes to citrus trees, I recommend you just pot it 1 or 2 gallons, big 1 or 2 sizes bigger than the one you have. Like if you have a citrus tree planted in a 1 gallon size pot, I recommend you pot it to a 2 or 3 gallon size pot. For me, I like to go up 2 sizes. So if it was in a 1 gallon size pot, I'm going to pot it to a 3 gallon size pot. After it outgrows the 3 gallon size pot, which you won't need to repot it for quite a while, for maybe 3 years, maybe you could even go with and if you're lucky, I think you could go a few years without uppotting the citrus tree. If you fertilize it, and if you take it out and you put fresh potting mix in there, then given the right conditions, you could keep it in the same pot for maybe up to 5 or 6 years or something like that. For me, it would be like maybe 3 years. Just you need to uppot it whenever you need to uppot plants. Just be careful, take it, check in the pot, see if the roots have started going around the circle, because really you are not going to want to, do not let your plants become root bound, because root bound is not good. It is said that even root bound would even stunt the plants as well. You don't want that, so be sure to check if it needs to be uppotted. If it's starting to circle around and you see it needs to be uppotted, uppot it to the next size pot, or to the next size pot, because you do not want to let the plants get root bound. Root bound is not good. Now, when it comes to other things to grow like avocados and mangoes, pruning. I don't really know about how to prune avocados, but I know how to top them off. but I will do a video explaining on how to top off avocados. Mangoes, I'm not really sure about mangoes because I think mangoes might be different than avocados. There might be a different way. Maybe it would be the same way as avocados, but I don't want to take that chance. However, I do know how to top off avocados. And I will do a video explaining how to go through that process. Like, not now because I had done it, but in a few months' time, I'll do a video on how to top off avocados if you're interested. If you have any avocados, I'll do a video on how to top off avocados. It's healthy for them. It makes them stronger. Avocados are very resilient to pruning and topping off. Bananas. Also, you need to have artificial. I recommend you put them in the brightest windowsills you have. If you don't have any windowsills, I recommend you use grow lights. I recommend you use the 24-watt Sansi LED grow light. 24-watt is equivalent to the 24-watt LED Sansi grow light bulb is equivalent to 300 watts of light. I have 3 of them of 15 watts. It's not 24 watts, and the 15-watt ones are equivalent to 150 watts. So I have 3 of them on a floor lamp stand, on a lamp. And that is, for all 3, that is total of up to 450 watts. The brighter the light, the better, because bananas, avocados, mangoes, they need very bright light. They need heat as well. Make sure you have them in a space where they get heat as well. In a nice warm spot. Mangoes and avocados and bananas are tropical. There are some varieties of avocados that are cold hardy, like the bacon avocado tree. That is one of the cold hardy varieties. There are some varieties of avocados that are cold hardy all the way down to zone 8. However, if you're in a colder climate like me, have them in a pot and keep them indoors. Also, if you don't have any light, I recommend you, if you don't have really any windowsills where you are, I recommend you go with very, very bright grow lights because they need bright light. If they don't have much light, they aren't going to do well. Just to let you know. Now, potatoes. You plant them in the ground. You dig a hole. You plant them in the ground. You cover it with soil on top. You water it. I don't think you need to fertilize it, at least until it sprouts. After it sprouts, fertilize it. And then, It's pretty much what you, and also when you dig the ground, be sure to get to make a garden. I recommend you pull out the grass, the weeds, and take out the big rocks. You don't need to get rid of all the rocks, the little rocks, the small rocks are fine, just the big rocks you need to get out of the way because they need space to be able to grow, and they will love you for it. They will appreciate the work that you put into for you to make them healthy, happy plants. Happy roots equals a happy plant. And if you have a happy plant, you will get what you're looking for: food. When it comes to fertilizing plants, as far as how often you fertilize them, it depends. You don't have to I don't think you have to fertilize it very often. You only have to I fertilize it maybe potatoes like once. I give them a dose of fertilizer. I give them enough fertilizer, and after I fertilize them, I don't fertilize potatoes anymore. Now, there is a time you are going to have to probably like each year you might have to add fertilizer to it, or maybe even like add nutrients to soil so that way they grow, because they eat through the nutrients in there, and you need to add nutrients to soil for them to keep growing. If you don't want to use fertilizer and you want to make homemade fertilizer, you can do that too. I'm thinking sometime I wanted to try to make my own homemade fertilizer for my plants as well. I use whatever. Now, as far as if you need to use organic fertilizer, you don't have to. You can use chemical fertilizers. Although I don't think it's good to use chemical fertilizers, but you can use whatever fertilizer you want. The organic stuff, I don't think is really much of a difference. I think no matter what, there's some sort of chemicals in it, or some sort of stuff in it, like some sort of chemicals, even in the organic fertilizer, even if it's approved. Even if it's organic approved, there might still be some chemicals in it. So, anyways, use whatever fertilizer you want to use. I use Happy Frog fertilizer, avocado and citrus mix. I use fruit tree fertilizer. I use whatever fertilizer I want to use. Another thing to add, eggshells are another good way to add nutrients to your plants. Plants, some reason, really like those eggshells. I use eggshells. I crush up my eggshells. If you get any eggs, you can put eggshells in a container, and you could crush your eggshells and put it with your plants. Eggshells I like to use eggshells for my plants. As far as how to protect your plants from a frost, I recommend you just cover them. Greenhouse. When it comes to a greenhouse, the greenhouse you cannot keep all winter long. The ones I have won't last. You can only have them up like after the last frost date, so that way they don't get damaged by the snow. Unless if you have an all seasons greenhouse, a greenhouse that is built for all seasons. An all seasons greenhouse is pretty expensive. I think it's pretty much like a few $100s to get an all seasons greenhouse, maybe even close to $1,000 to get a greenhouse that is built to withstand for all seasons. It's not like you would need a greenhouse all year long, just for like May, unless if you have. And there are people that are mistaken. Well, can I use a greenhouse all year long? Would it keep them warm? No. Unless if you have running grow lights and a heater, it won't be very well. If the temperatures outdoors are cold, the temperatures are going to be, again, cold in the greenhouse. The only way you can grow plants in a greenhouse year long is if you are running grow lights with a heater inside. That is if you have an all seasons greenhouse, which you probably don't. Maybe you do, but you probably don't. I don't have one. So I can't grow my plants all year round outdoors. I don't have a greenhouse that's built for every single season in the year. However, there is things that you can do. This is just to be sure you pick out varieties of fruits and veggies that you know you can grow in your climate zone. Also, another thing. There are some other things you could try growing as well. Like fig trees. You could try to grow some figs as well. I'm growing a fig tree. I have a Chicago Hardy fig tree. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I will do my best to answer your questions. Pineapples, another good plant to grow. I like to grow pineapples as well. So now, what I'm thinking about doing is I would like to try growing different varieties of foods. Because I like to grow a bunch of stuff. You don't have to. If you just want to just get into starting to grow your own food, I recommend you start with very few plants, not just get like a whole bunch of plants. It is very important for you to take it slow and to slowly build up the amount of plants that you will be growing. I find joy in growing my own food. I think it's rewarding. What is your thoughts? If you don't have any questions right now, you could think about it and you could ask me later on, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Now I would like to go back to reasons why I think you should start a garden in 2024. It's not just, I think it's rewarding for you to grow your own food and to harvest it after you've grown it yourself. Or that you should grow it because for your family or for your friends. The reason why I think you should start a garden in 2024 is because I will give you an example. Reasons why I'm growing my own food is because I like to grow my own food. I want to grow my own food for my family, even grow my own food for myself as well. I also find joy in growing my own food as well. I think it's cool that you can grow your own food. Those are the reasons why I think you should start a garden. You can do what you want to do. You don't have to garden. It's not for everyone. If you do decide to start a garden, it takes hard work. It's not as fun as it sounds. It's actually harder than it is. It's actually a little bit harder than you think. It takes hard work because you gotta dig up the dirt, you gotta take out the most of the rocks. You gotta pull out the weeds and the grass. Anything so that way you can plant them. And you plant them. So there's more than to just planting them when it comes to planting them in the ground. Also, every year is different too. Not every year is going to be the same. Some years will be not as good as other years. There might be one year where you get a storm. Also, I want to tell you, be prepared. It hasn't happened to me yet, but as far as I have heard that if not everything has been wiped out yet, there will come a time where everything will just wipe out your plants. And you can't just buy more plants and just replace it. And depending on how far you are into your growing season, I recommend you have a backup plan. I'm going to have a backup plan for when I grow my own food this year, for this growing season. Also, do you want to grow food, like fruits? The reason why I'm growing fruits is because I want to make my own juice. Why do you want to grow your own food if you decide to? Do you want to grow your own food do you want to grow your own food for to add to a recipe? Do you want to grow your own fruits to make your own juice? Do you want to grow your own veggies to turn it into a protein shake or something like that, or to turn it into a drink, make some sort of a veggie drink or something like that? Please do let me know what you want. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Any question. Well, not any question, but if you feel free to ask me a question. I will do my best to answer it. I will be getting off soon. In a couple of minutes. And if you don't have any questions right now, you could ask me in the questions down below. And I'll do my best to answer your question. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's stream. As far as the next stream I will be doing, it probably won't be till next week. Because I'm going to go for streaming once a week on this channel. On my gaming channel, I stream like 2 times a week. It's called Frosty the Game Slayer. That is my second channel. If you would like to watch me play some games tonight, feel free to look me up whenever you want to. If you enjoyed, leave a like. Leave a comment down below. Peace. And hope to see you tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. At 7 p.m. tonight, I'll be streaming a game on my second channel. Again, if you need a reminder, it's called Frosty the Game Slayer. Hope to see you tonight. Bye. Peace. Hope to see you in the next stream, or hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.